everyone. It is time to think about what we are eating this week, and it's going to be a crazy mixed up week this first full week in March, but we got this. So do you know what you're planning to fix for meals this week? Let's jump into it. Hi, I'm Kelly and welcome to my homestead. So I'm starting out with the month of March. I've been wanting to get into this channel for several months, and we won't say how far back several months. But then Heather at the Kneady Homesteader gave me a prompt, and that was to work on meal planning Monday. And I've been going to jump in here for 2 months too. So, you know, life is just crazy, and I'm trying to find a groove here. And I think March is the month I'm going to find that groove. And I hope you'll come along for the ride, because it's going to be a ride. Now, I have 3 priorities this month. One is to take freezer stock. I pretty much know what's down there, but I got a huge ride-on wipe-off board to put on the front of the freezer. I got this from another gal in a chat, and I thought it was a great idea because when I send my husband down to get something out of the freezer, he really has no clue what's down there or where to begin to look. So I think a freezer diagram of my shelves. My pen's going to run out of ink, and that's one of my favorite pens. I think a freezer diagram on a ride-on wipe-off board. Gosh darn it, that one's going to do it too. Let's try one that's not a ride-on wipe-off or a eraser. There we go. And I know that this first tub is breakfast stuff. I know this one is all ham stuff. I know that I have one that is, and this may not be in the correct order, but I know one is all chicken. I know one is all pork steaks. I know one is all hamburger. And usually in between the 2 tubs, I store everything in those white plastic dish tubs for, you know, to get for kids for kindergarten. And so I have space in between that is just about the right width for a roll of sausage. So I can stack rolls of sausage in between those 2 tubs. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, so then Bob knows what's in the freezer. So there's my take freezer stock, and set that up for Bob. Another thing I'm going to be talking about, particularly over on my blog, is that Bob retired the first of the year. And so now he's home all the time, and I'm loving it. But he's helping with everything, but it's kind of nice for him to know where to find stuff when I send him after it. The next thing priority is to clean out the kitchen shelves, the kitchen pantry, because I want to move all of my meals in a jar to the kitchen pantry. Use the bottom shelf. I've got 3 shelves. Use the bottom shelf for stuff that we grab every day, like tuna fish or you know, open jars of pasta, that kind of thing. But I want to delegate the top 2 shelves to nothing but meals in a jar. And I have several recipes from Jara over at Wicked Prepper. And I'm going to link both of these girls' channels down below. My third plan or priority for the month of March is really give the refrigerator a good scrub. Now, Bob is gone the entire 3rd full week of the month to visit his mom in South Texas. So I'll have a chance to do some deep cleaning stuff that I want to get done. I apologize if I sound breathless. I've had a nap. I just feel wore out. But I didn't want to put this off again. So those are my 3 priorities. Now let's get into the actual meal planning. And I had markers for this, and they have since vanished. I'll come back and color code them later, but the reason I like this vertical style of a planner when I'm doing menu planning is because I like to do the top. I need a perma pen, so when I go back over with the marker, I don't lose it. But I use the top for breakfast, the medium for lunch, and the bottom square for dinner. I know I cut that off over here possibly, so I'm going to go over here and jump to Friday. but it's the same all the way across. And then I'm going to show you what I do with the markers that I can't find that I bought to do this with. And that is, let's see if I can get to my February. Because I think I had February drawn out. Oh, let's try January. See, I was going to do this, really, I was. But I highlight the mornings in yellow, the lunches in pink, and dinners in blue. And then I have a note over here for snacks, things that I need to bake, that kind of thing. Now, we usually have keto breakfast cookies that I make early in the morning when we get up. That's pretty much our breakfast. And then we don't eat actual breakfast or brunch till somewhere between 11 and noon, or 10 and 11. And I've totally messed that up trying to talk and write at the same time. But I'm going to flip this away. And I'm going to take my white out and I'm going to fix that. I promise these will become more smooth as I go, but today just has not been a good day. I have been on the run for the past week. I had an upsetting day on Thursday, and then we were gone all day yesterday, or Saturday, and Sunday I was just wiped out. I just couldn't take anymore, and I'm still, as I'm recording this on Sunday evening, I'm still trying to play catch up. Now, I do know that I can spell dinner. Let's start there. I can spell dinner. I do know we have to be, that I'm doing, excuse me, that I'm going to do a crock pot dinner for Wednesday. I'm not sure what it's going to be. That's going to be crock pot. That pan. I wish they would package these in bundles like they do the blue. So we're going to do crock pot for dinner. I give up. I love an erasable pen just for this reason. So let's say crock pot for dinner. We're going to do breakfast sandwiches. Now we do these several ways. One is if we're in a hurry and we just want to cheat or want something light, I will buy the Jimmy Dean's sausage, egg, and cheese croissants for me, and I buy the ham, egg, and sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits for me, and the ham, egg, and cheese croissants for Bob. But I've also gotten really good at making our own. It takes just a couple of minutes, and I'm trying not to use the store-bought eggs any more than necessary because they're getting so expensive. So I reserve those for when we want a fried egg with dippy kind of thing. So if we want, you know, like eggs and toast kind of stuff. But, so I've been using my Thrive eggs a lot. And I'm really loving them. And this month, on this monthly sale, they are 25% off. So I'm going to order a couple of cases of those because, like I said, with the price of eggs, the only time we use the eggs from the store is if we want dippy. And these make great sandwiches. And one of the things about it is when I do them in the skillet, I do them like an omelet and just leave them flat. And then I put the slice of cheese in the center. And then I fold the edges over and encase the cheese on the inside, and it makes the cheese all icky and gooey when you melt it. So I've been doing those a lot lately. And then lunch is just going to be whatever we grab out of the refrigerator. Now, I asked Bob what he wanted this week. He says Tuesday he'd like to do chili for dinner. We are supposed to be having storms in here Tuesday, and chili is just good. It's just good, cold, wet weather food. What he doesn't know is I have a container of chili in the freezer, so I won't have to make a pot of chili. I'm going to get to cheat. And we also have cornbread in the refrigerator from last week that I think is still good. So if it's still good, we'll use it. Otherwise, I'll make a new batch of cornbread. He also suggested tuna noodle casserole and a tater tot casserole. And I think I'm going to do the tater tot casserole tomorrow, or today as you're watching this. So Monday will be tater tot casserole. Now this is another one that I do several different ways. Sometimes I'll use the actual tater tots. Sometimes I'll use the hash browns, whatever I have in the freezer, and hamburger. Sometimes I'll add just the cheese sauce and it'll be like a cheeseburger tater tot casserole. Other times, and this is to help get Bob's veggies in him, is I'll open and drain a can of Veg-All and use it. And then we'll use either cream of mushroom soup or a cheese soup for that. Just different varieties that we can do, so when we have tater tot casserole 2 or 3 times in the same month, we're not eating the same one. Bob does not like vegetables. He will eat French-style green beans with cheese sauce, regular green beans, and Le Sueur sweet peas. It has to be Le Sueur sweet peas. So, I get tired of the same vegetables all the time, and that's another reason I love my Thrive. And I'm going to talk about recipes with the Thrive periodically throughout these videos. Because if I want something, I will make a small batch for me, and then I can add in rehydrated, reconstituted either peas or spinach or broccoli, which is another vegetable that I love. So the Thrive products let me integrate the things that I love and not pressuring Bob to eat things he'll just sit there and pick out anyway. Okay, so this morning as you're watching this for breakfast, I went really easy, and we're going to do oatmeal. Now, I try to do oatmeal a couple of times a week. I'll probably do that again on Thursday. Now, some people will do oatmeal with toast. I've never understood that. If you have an explanation for that, please leave it in the comments below. Other than dipping my toast in my oatmeal, which I really don't get because I like my oatmeal a little bit thicker than that, I have no clue why. So if you'll leave that in the description box for me, I would love that. I've tried the overnight meal and it just doesn't work for us. It's just as quick for me to get up and make it in the morning. I use whole rolled oats that we get from the Amish store in the 25-pound bag, and then I dry seal it into half-gallon mason jars, and we go through a half-gallon about every 2 weeks, doing breakfast a couple of times a week. So probably a month, I guess. When we were doing it every morning, that was different. And I think I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to do oatmeal on Friday as well for breakfast. And as I said, lunch is usually just raid the refrigerator. Sometimes it's a great way to get rid of leftovers from the night before, so like tater tot casserole or chili would be great for lunch the next day. So I usually don't meal plan those. I worry about breakfast and I worry about dinner. Now, if you have a family, your planning is going to be different. But it has been just Bob and I pretty much for most of the last 18 years. And I have it to a science almost. It's just trying to figure out what we're going to do. So if we're going to do breakfast sandwiches on Wednesday, we're going to do the oatmeal here. We will probably do the homemade breakfast sandwiches again because for me as a diabetic, protein first thing in the morning is important. And that's why I do the keto breakfast cookies in the morning for both of us. And I will leave that recipe down in the description box below if I remember. It's getting really late and I have lots that I need to get done. So then we have, he suggested tuna noodle casserole. So I'm going to put that for Saturday or for Friday. Tuna casserole. And I need to order more stickers from Peanut Butter Taco on Etsy. They have the cutest little crock pot stickers that I want to use in here. Now Saturday will be another crock pot day because Saturdays are my day. I don't I do one of two things. Either I run away for the day and I sit in the coffee shop all day long, or I am doing listing with Lael, which is using a standard size traveler's notebook, and we do listing of things. It's kind of a documentation kind of thing, and those two things are important to me, that I just have to have my me time. So that'll probably be, Crockpot will be Saturday, because I'll get to list with Lael for the first time in several weeks. Sundays, I'm thinking, and I have a horrible stress sore that I've been constantly putting Carmex on. But Sundays for breakfast is always quiche. I make a sausage, egg, and cheese quiche. Now this week, because like I said, Bob won't eat spinach, so I'm going to make two. I'm going to make one with spinach and cheese, and one with sausage and cheese. And I also have my dehydrated Bella mushrooms that I crumple up and put into crumbs and put them in the casserole for extra flavor. So this week I want to make two separate square pans, and then I'll cut them into squares, and we'll have quiche for an alternative for quick breakfast or even brunches throughout the month. Because I can cut those and I can freeze those, and I get my spinach, and Bob doesn't have to have spinach. So there's that one. I'm thinking Sunday dinner. I think we're about due for meatloaf. Now, I do a meatloaf recipe in the microwave that I got with, it was in the cookbook that came with our microwave 40 years ago. And it is tried and true. It's done in a bundt pan in the microwave, takes 20 minutes. And I can't put onions or green peppers in the meatloaf because Bob won't eat it, especially if it has meatloaf. Now I can use, or if it has green peppers. Now I can use onion seasoning, just not onions that he's going to bite into. But green peppers in no way, shape, or form. So it's almost a sweet meatloaf. So I think that's going to be, we usually do meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and the peas. Because, you know, peas and potatoes just go together. So I think that will be Sunday dinner next week. This week, today I made half-pound hamburgers on hoagie buns with zero sugar baked beans and French-style green beans with cheese sauce. Now I have one more dinner to figure out, and that's going to be Thursday. And I'm thinking I'm just going to go with the tater tot casserole. I think I'm going to go leftovers for Thursday. Because I will probably run away Thursday and go pay bills. Bob may or may not go with me. And if he doesn't, he can have the leftover tater tot casserole. And I will eat dinner in town. So that's going to pretty much do us for this week. I didn't figure out a breakfast for Saturday. We're probably going to do the egg and cheese sandwiches again. Because, you know, it's that protein thing. So there, I have planned out the menu for the entire week. Lunch is whatever you can dig out of the refrigerator. And I will be back here next. Actually, let me look here. Homestead. I will be back here tomorrow to talk about retirement. And how this whole... if you're not in the retirement stage and you're not a homesteader, things that you might want to look at as you look further down the road to retirement. And that video will be a little bit more comprehensive. In the meantime, I hope you will be safe, be prepared, and be blessed. Thanks for joining me on the homestead.